Alright, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Kalaim La Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Harakak Wadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do rule and teach well, and honors to the brothers out there pushing this truth with all sincerity across the four corners. So, just want to get into a quick topic. Tons of pine checking in. Go on this video be edifying to the elect. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, what he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Right, so in the time of these kings. Hear, all heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. Alright, yeah, the Lord did bring up his children, bring up children. What's that talking about? The Lord chose us to be his special people, right? He gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments and things, to keep. And talking about that first covenant that we're supposed to keep these things, perfectly, but it was all set up, for us, to go off, to have these imperfect bodies, you know, and like the elders pretty much saying about getting too deep, but like the elders say, um, all the time, like we have to learn wickedness to learn righteousness, to fully appreciate righteousness, right? So, that's how the Lord had it set up pretty much. Um, you know, pretty much uh it was set up from the beginning to play out like that. Now in these times, you know, it's all about the like remnant, right? The hopeful elect, right? Those who actually in this time of liberty trying to get right with the Heavenly Father and keeping these commandments the best their ability. All right, and of course certain things are non-negotiable, such as taking the MOTB. Whatever they say you gotta, whatever you gotta deal with that something like that, you just gotta go through it, man. They say, uh, you know, MOTB or execution, you gotta, man, you gotta go down. That's how it's gonna be. All right, anything but taking that thing. Right? There's no forgiveness for taking that thing. Moving on. So yeah, Lord brought up children. And to get back into the context here, all right, we talk about Egypt. All right, we can talk about the scriptures about the Canaanites. Oh, oh my, oh God, oh, wow. All right, this action acting pretty bananas as of late. So, um, yeah, so it's the book of Deuteronomy. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I could do Deuteronomy 7:1 with the Lord. Thy power shall bring into the land where thou goest to possess it, and cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Alright, so that's just an example. The Lord bringing up children, right? His chosen people, Him looking out for us, right? And because, us being in these sinful bodies, alright, we weren't able to keep the laws, such as the commandments perfectly, and it went off, alright? And, you know, us rebelling against the Lord brought about these curses, alright? Verse 3, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Alright, so that makes me think of another one. Uh, cities are by God's. Yeah, yeah, this is a book of Deuteronomy, Jeremiah chapter 2, and now let's do 28. Yeah, let's get to the point. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise, if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, so the Judah. Right? As they were doing back then, right? Judah were going off before, Lord sent these Babylonians, to judge them, right? Because the northern kingdom were already, I believe at this point in Jeremiah, the northern kingdom was already taken away. Okay. Um, but uh, the northern kingdom was taken away. What was it like Shalmaneser the fifth? You can read about him in Second Kings, I think 17, somewhere around there. You can kind of get into that whole account and siege and was the conquest of Samaria and things like that. And Jake being pretty much the only kingdom being taken away and settled across the whole Mediterranean Mesopotamian region, which means between the rivers, between the Tigris and Euphrates, the whole area. And then in time, they left and pretty much came over to uh, the other side of the world and dwelt here and in the Americas, across North, South America. They made that their home, you know, and that was pretty much that. All right, so yeah, but same thing like back then, the same thing now, right? And it's not just Judah, but it's all the tribes. All right, they have like crazy amounts of gods, right? They into like Buddhism, they into like fucking Kemet, all that mystery school shit, you know. Um, yeah, they're just into everything but what they're supposed to be into. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children of corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel into anger. They're gone away backwards. Right? Yeah, and that's these 2/3, man. All right, these are all 2/3 qualities right here, man. They're not turning back to the Lord. All right, they're not considering. All right, they're people laden with iniquity, man. They're just bugging out, man. All right, we go out week in and week out, tough in the elements, hot as hell, be cold, right? To get you this word. And what did Jake do? Right, they forsake the Lord, right? Or like there's other precepts that get into this as well. They speak with their mouth like, "Hey, man, you know, I missed the message, man," and then they just go back to doing random bullshit right after that. Whether it be smoking cigarettes or smoking weed. You know what I mean? I worked with a Jake like that. I didn't tell him that I knew the truth or I was watching. This is before I came to the other side, when I was still camping by myself and things like that. I knew I worked with a guy like that. You could like he would mention certain things, you know, and you know, this guy fucking smoked weed and had dreads, So yeah, Jake is really like that. Um, so yeah, why should you be stricken anymore? You wrote more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. Yeah, why should you be stricken anymore? Why Lord God just keep punishing you, right? You just keep going off, right? So the whole head is sick. It's basically you just bugged out pretty much. The whole heart is faint. You know what I mean? Effective slavery, all that, all that. All right. It's gonna keep going into that into the sixth verse. From the sole of the foot even to the head, there's no sinus in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. Right? The effects of slavery, all stuff we went through, they have not been closed nor bound up, neither modified with ointment. Right? You get the ointment to heal you to these scriptures, man. Right? But Jake just don't want to regard or just don't even want to consider, man. They just look on and laugh. All right. So I'm let that be that. Go and edify and Mr. Shalom.